How you doing? You alright? What a day. I've been up since 4:15 this morning and I'm still buzzing, and it's probably about 10:30 at night. It's Saturday, 12th, 13th November, something like that. Completely lost track of time. And yeah, I'm sat here with a massive smile on my face because, like I said, what an absolute belting day. So, where have I been? I've been to Telford, first time. Now, I know it were a smaller show, and I'm kind of glad in a way because it's a 2 day show, as everybody knows, but I can't do 2 days because my daughter, she's in cadets, she's a corporal in cadets, and she's on Remembrance Day parade tomorrow. So I have to factor that in. That comes first every single time. So up this morning at, well, it was about 10 to 4 because just couldn't sleep, because you know what it's like. First time going to a show like that. And I've just got one thing in mind, and anybody that knows me knows exactly what that was. And popping a few quid away here and there as of a year, because I've known that I've been going for a year, popping a couple of quid away each week. You know, literally some week it's shrapnel, some week it's a tenner, but I've managed to do a little bit of saving, and I've got exactly what I wanted from the show today. But that's not why I'm here. Kind of why I'm here. So this isn't a build video, okay? This is basically Telford 2021. And when you go onto YouTube and you type in Telford 2021 or whatever, this will be one of the videos that comes up. And this is like my experience. If you've never been, you know, you get some guys that'll take footage of video footage of all the trade stands and all the SIG stands and the club stands and one thing and another. And this ain't that kind of video because there's hardly any photos to put up. This is my video to the people who've never been and have said, I've always kind of fancied it, but it's a long way. Is it worth going? You know, it's an incredibly long day. It's expensive to get in, unless you're part of IPMS, of course. I go to this show, I go to that show. What is it about IPMS Telford show, International Centre? What is it? Somebody ought to make a video that's, you know, unbiased, and look at me smiling, unbiased, and say, what's it all about? So this is my journey today. So I'm up at, well, it were about 10 to 4 actually when I got up. I set my alarm last night like you do, and then you're sort of scared of sleeping in, aren't you? I'm 50, scared of sleeping in. What's that all about? But you're scared of sleeping in. I went to bed early last night, 8:30, 8:45, and I don't need a lot of sleep anyway. I mean, I'm sometimes sat in my garage talking to Yanks and Canadians while 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's no drama. But I went to bed at 8:30. Body clock woke me up in a start. Looked at the clock, 1:30. No, back to sleep. Back to sleep. You literally have an hour, but because you've sort of like got the adrenaline thing going off in your body. So 2:30, woke up, looked at the clock, 2:30, no, back to sleep. Woke up 3:30, no, back to sleep. And then finally woke up at 10 to 4 and just thought, I just can't handle this anymore. I've got to get out of bed. So out of bed you go, and it's downstairs, cup of tea, get dressed, wash teeth, off you go. And today I've been so lucky with the company that I've kept. Bill, he's not on Facebook, but he's down at club, and he will see this video eventually. And Dave Housecroft, what an absolute legend. Where club is in South Kirby, Dave lives all the way over in Dewsbury, which is a good, you know, it's a 40-minute drive for Dave to come over every single time. And although he sort of started in the middle of last year, Dave was the only member of club that did actually get 100% attendance. He never missed. There's certain people down at club, I'm not kidding you, cut them in half and club just runs through the body. And Dave's one of them guys. So Dave's driven us today. in his fantastic car, I've got to say. Bill in front. I've sat in back. I'm not. It's crippled me because obviously I had the car crash like 3 years ago. So I've got Bill in front. I'm not going to disrespect Bill. Bill's like 150-year-old. So I'm not going to disrespect Bill and say, no, you're getting it back, pal. I've sat it back. But I really didn't care, to be honest, because it's just about going down to the show, isn't it? And as usual, we've got this thing that whenever we go to a show, whether it's Bolton, Halifax, Telford, whatever, wherever, you know, the lads that I normally go with, we call in at Mackey's for breakfast. It's a standard thing. Dougie Tucker knows that. Fraser knows it. Ali knows it. Gaz Rob, we all know it. On his way to a show, Mackie D's, breakfast, it's got to happen. So we did that. We had a slight detour, courtesy of Dave, who had a little bit of a wobble, even though, I mean, it was so funny this morning. It's sort of like just coming up sunrise and we've got 3 sat-navs on go. We've got my phone, Dave's car, and Dave's car. He's got 2 sat-navs built into the car. And with 3 in sat-navs, we still took wrong turn. So you take a wrong turn, don't you? And it's like, right, okay. But then as soon as we started pulling up Slip Road, the sat-nav said, turn around in 9.8 miles. And we're like, you are absolutely joking. So we had to bomb up motorway to the next roundabout, 9.8 mile away. Come all the way around roundabout to come all the way back. So it's like an 18, 19 mile detour. But no great shakes. It sort of added to the humour of the day, if you will. And then we get there. Now, Bill is an elderly gentleman. He's not so steady on his feet, so we parked in disabled parking, which is down at the bottom of the Telford car park. It's not in the high rise. When you go to Telford, so I want to go to Telford, Mark, what am I doing? You're going there early. That's what you're doing. We set off, I've just told you, we set off at 6 a.m. this morning for a 2-hour, 15-minute journey. And that's from Pontefract in West Yorkshire all the way down. But as usual, a sat-nav, you know, it'll say, go halfway around country, and then you can go down if you want. So we've got a conflict of interest with sat-navs and taking a wrong turn and one thing or another, but we still made it in decent time, even though we called in at Mackey's. So like I said, so we gets there, we parks in car park and sort of huddles through a sort of side door, if you will. And all the other people, they're all gathered up at the top end. And quite embarrassingly, this guy, you know, are you IPMS members? Now, Dave is, me and Bill aren't. But because Dave is, and we say, we've brought his dad to his first show. Oh, come on in then, lads, come on in. So we go hobbling in and Bill's got his stick, you know, and we're, you all right, Dad? Funny as all. For the record, Bill's not me dad. But, you know, it was just like, it was first thing that came into my head, look at me smiling, oh, we've come with me dad. So we hobbles all the way through, right? And literally we're walking past all these people who have obviously queued there for like an hour at least. And we hobbled straight to the front of the queue. Now, there were a little bit of turmoil at gate because obviously Dave's IPMS, so he's got his wristband, he can go straight in. But there were a bit of a quandary with us, and she's this woman, they called her Jill, one of the yellow jackets down at show, and she's like, oh, well, your two can't go in. I'm like, well, I'm with my dad, you know, I can't leave him on his own. So she says, well, your two go and have a seat over there. So we did, and took a selfie. So we did that, and then announcement comes on, it's 10 o'clock, boys and girls, fill your boots. And we walked in, and so first picture there, that's like the sort of rest area, if you will. So that's through all the, you know, when you have to queue and you have to do that, through all that snaky, you know, all that sort of stuff. And we sat just outside of that. 10 o'clock, off you go. So in we go, and you're into the seating area, and there's a bit of a sort of cafe in one area. One thing I will mention, toilets. You know, sometimes you can go to an event and sometimes they're held in schools, like the Bolton one used to be, or, you know, it's facilities, they're not cracking. That centre, literally every second door, there's a toilet. And you've got to imagine the amount of people that go there, even though it were a much smaller show. You need a lot of facilities because there's a lot of blokes and women drinking a lot of tea and coffee, and it ain't staying in, let's be fair. So you've got to go. But literally, like I say, every second door you're going. So you're going to main hall, and this year, 2021, only 2 halls, 1 and 2. And it's you're sort of taken aback slightly. I can remember the first time that I went to a football match, and you sort of go through you go up all concrete steps, round and round and up and up and up. And then when you actually get to the top where entrance is, and you look and you can see the pitch, and if it's your team especially, and it's first time you've ever been to that ground, it overwhelms you so much. It's almost you almost sort of start tearing up. And it was exactly the same. It's like you walk through that rest area and you can see the massive place there. And it's like, Jesus Christ, this is it. I'm in. First time. All you lot that go regular, like, grow up, big lad. But when you go for the first time, it's like it's so overwhelming. But it's such a gorgeous experience. And then you walk in and there's the hustle and bustle straight away. There's traders, there's club stands, cig stands, one thing or another, everything. Now, I know that a lot of people, you'd be thinking, oh, Mark, it was shit, mate, this year. There were no proper big Airfix stand, even though there were a little one. There were no Revel, there were no international people there. Mate, you've not experienced half of it. Fair play. I can't help that because COVID's been an absolute, it's been anti. I'm trying not to swear on my videos. So, even though I put not made for kids. But you go in, and like I said, I've got one thing in mind. And people who watch my videos, and I'll get to that in a little bit, know that I've been after one kit in particular for the last 12 months. I've had a couple of lads who I chat to on social media, and as soon as this kit were announced, they're like, oh, Mark, chuffing hell, you have to keep your eye out for this one. Pricey, but like I said, even bits of shrapnel, I've saved them up over a year. I thought, you know what, I've got to do it because this is the pinnacle kit for me. You know what I build, and I've built loads. And to get this one, when I've been building these 1 in 48 tornadoes, you're building up, you're building your skill level, you're building your confidence level. And on my Spotlight Stars, I will do at the end of the interview, I'll say, right, I'm a manufacturer, unlimited amount of money, what kit do you want? And, all my fantastic participants will say, oh, right, well, you are Tamiya, and I want this kit in this scale. And, we'd sort of develop that story. And I said, right, so what do you want? And I literally, and I'm trying to feed them to say, this is my absolute dream kit. And we've had some fantastic examples. But it's scary in a way because you say, I've not done Spotlight Star, right? I'm gaffer. So when it comes round to me doing Spotlight Star and they say, come on then, Mark, I'm a manufacturer, what do you want? I say, tornado. What scale do you want? I mean, ideally, I'd go 1 in 24, but, how big's that going to be? So you have to settle. I wouldn't settle. It would be a 1 in 24. But let's go 1 in 32. And what would it have to have? It would have to be a fantastic design with great fitting parts, slats, flaps, air intakes, the side doors that can open on there, fantastic ordnance that goes together well, great cockpit, buckets that can, do the open close because I've done millions of them, air brakes that can open, fantastic undercarriage, rubber tyres, great decals, everything. And then, I mean, I've not built it, so I don't know, but in my head, Italieri have brought it out. And now they've just brought the new IDS version out as well. So I've driven there this morning, I've passengered there this morning, with literally one goal in mind, that's it, one goal. it's expensive. First stand that I went to, it's up at 145 quid. But I knew that I'd get it cheaper if I did a bit of shopping around, and I did. What, you've got one? No, yeah, I've got one. So I've got an Italieri Tornado GR4 1 in 32 top kit. It's there in front of me. I'm going to put a picture up. But I didn't just go for that. I also needed some material stuff as well because, you know, with COVID happening and I'm running out of paint and glue and tape and everything like we do. And even though I will buy it in dribs and drabs, I'll go online or I'll nip to its shop, roll a tape, one thing or another. There's no better feeling than taking a little bit of cash to a place and going, right, I want this paint, these colours, this, that, up to the da-da-da, and coming away feeling a little bit euphoric. Now again, if you are single fella, divorced fella, basically you ain't got no ties. I've got 2 kiddie winkers behind me and a lovely missus at side of me who keeps me in check. So, you know, when you've got that kind of commitment, that's what you're committed to. And you can't always go, I do want all this stuff and I've got to get it. But like I say, I've saved up a few quid every week and I've got what I wanted. I'll quickly talk through because I'm going to put a picture up. So I'd run out of micro crystal clear, the white PVA glue for canopies. Got one of them. Just got to have it. Fred Foot, shout out. First shout out. Freddie Foot up at Alclad. Fantastic fella. Met him today. We've had a shake. We've had a, all right, mate, how's it going? Chit chat, chit chat. Great lad. Great lad is Fred. So he's on Alclad stand. So I've got 2 bottles of gloss. And I've also got I brought my glasses. A bottle of Jess Exhaust. There you go. I'm not going to hold them up for too long. You know what it looks like. And I've got a bottle of Ultimate Decals Setting Solution because I fancied trying something a little bit different from Sol and Set. That's the one that I prefer for glazing. A bottle of Plastic Magic, which is glue, but backed up with the regulars. Tamiya lacquer paints. These ones, I think they're LPs, aren't they? LP. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I've still got my wristband on. Chuffing hellfire. Take that off now. God, don't they stink? And then bottles of MRP, because as you know, if you've watched my videos in past, I've done a Tornado. That one's up there in MRP 185. And as soon as I did that, I was like, you know, this is brilliant. So Insignia White, Desert Pink, got to happen. Even though I've got no to build in Desert Pink, you've got to have that colour in reserve, haven't you? I've gone for a light gold grey, a dark sea grey, a black, olive drab, a steel, a dark green, and an Insignia White. And then we're walking around, me, Bill and Dave, and I've also got a pack of my paintbrushes were absolutely knackered, I must say. And I made this little block last year, and it's a block of wood with some holes drilled in it. But every single one of them brushes is absolutely brand new because I needed them. Especially when you're coming to do your detail work or a little bit of dry brushing. Although I haven't binned my old brushes, right? Call me Billy Hunt, not other one. So I'll use them for dry brushing. And then I've picked up my Avro Lancaster B Mark 1/3 Tamiya 1 in 48 from Ev at Red Dragon Modelers. So that's shout number 2. If you're in Wales, Red Dragon Modelers, find them on Facebook. Ev's the captain there. Top fella. Absolute champion. So then I've started to see, walk around and meet guys that I know. So Fred I've met, and Ev I know, and then I bump into my old favourite Jez Coleman. Hope you're well, mate. We have a bit of banter together. Not too big for a slap, though. Then we bumped into Gaz Morton and his brilliant putting up wife, Michelle. She's an absolute star for putting up with all of us, basically. James Bamford as well. Saw James today. I didn't really get time to catch up with James, but I was just so like buzzing at everything that were going off. Dave, I've mentioned. Bill, Malcolm Childs as well. Met Malk. We're doing something for Models for Heroes down at club next year, so it was nice to catch up with Malk as well. Phil and Nigel as well on the Tornado Sig. You know, I post on Tornado Sig quite regularly because that's what I build. And I had a good half an hour catch up with lads today. And I'm saying, you know, so what's the difference? And Phil's saying, well, I haven't built that. I've only built the Revel ones, right? But how does it compare? Well, I don't know, mate. Right, okay. Nige, what's the Revel ones like? Well, I don't know. I haven't built Revel ones. I've only built Italieri ones. It's like, so we're all bouncing off each other. And I hope you've enjoyed my company, mate, because I've thoroughly enjoyed yours. So we've walked literally, walked 50 miles today, round and round and round, both halls, covered both halls, had a spot of lunch and met, next shout out, Lee Powell. Lovely to meet you, mate, absolutely spot on, mate. And we had a proper laugh round at dinner, taking the piss out of Bill, obviously, with his wedding, which is sorted. And then back in, you know, just tying up, and I've got Dave and I've got Bill, and it's like, you know, money is burning holes in their pockets, and Dave got, you know, 99% of the stuff what he wanted. He did want the 1 in 32 Black Widow, but he didn't land on one. And then Bill's moving up from 1 in 72s because he's old now and his eyes aren't cracking. So he's moving up from 72s to 48s. While I've been chatting, look at these pictures. I didn't take many, but it's because I was busy gassing all the time. Let's wrap it up because I'm on to 22 minutes. Telford, yes or no? Definitely. Would I build it again? Yeah, definitely. Would I prefer to do the 2 days? Yeah, of course I would. But like I've previously explained, no chance. No. Daughter comes first. Kids come first. When she's aged out of cadets, would I do the 2 days and stop in a hotel with lads? Yeah, of course I would. It'd be a real treat, wouldn't it? Having a drink, having a meal, catching up about the day, ripping the piss out of each other, and then being able to go and do it all again next day. I'm dead envious of you lads that have managed to do that. One day, lads, one day. Okay. And then after such a long day, it's a travel back home. Got lost again, only temporarily though this time for like 500 metre detour before we got back on track. Them sat navs are absolutely shite, even though we got 3 on go yet again. And then a steady drive up through, I think it was Derby, joining on to M1, back up to Dave's at Dewsbury, swapping cars, me bringing Bill home, and I actually got in at 9:30, so that's from 3:45 this morning. So, fantastic day. Thanks to everybody who's kept company. Just one more thing, couple more things. Did meet a chap today. I do apologise, I forgot your name. Came to me and went, Mark, yeah, mate. Shook my hand. I love your videos. If you're watching this one, put a comment on because I'm smiling. I'm embarrassed, really, because I have forgotten your name. But it's cost me head was so full of stuff. So Telford, would I go again? Definitely. 1 day? Yeah, possibly. I have to do 1 day. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. Every single second. I've enjoyed it immensely. Would I recommend it to anybody that hasn't been before? Definitely. What would I say? I'd say get there early, get in queue early, join IPMS if you want, because they can go in an hour early. They can go in from 9 o'clock. If you want to take some food, take a couple of bottles of water, because obviously in them places, can I have a tea, love, please? Of course you can, that'll be $3.99. And, you know, I'm not a tight ass, even though I did barter for my glow, but, you know, you can take a flask, right? It don't cost £3 for a goddamn cup of tea. So, and then, like I said, steady drive back up. What we're on 20, 25 minutes. Listen, it's absolutely superb. I will be going again next year and probably every year going forward now. Okay. Are you going to make the journey? Mate, I live in Scotland. I live in Suffolk. I live Surrey, Kent, Wales. F comes from Wales. He's been up. Stopped in a hotel with Mrs. Shaz. Is it worth the journey? If you've been to a regular model show that's a day and you enjoy that, you will go to Telford and you will love it. Okay, it's as simple as that. Do you need 2 days to do it? You can scoot round it in a day. We've done it in a day, but it was a much more condensed show today. So if it were a normal show, could you do it in a day? Probably not, okay? Because once you start gassing and chatting to people who you chat to on social media, online, on YouTube, whatever, can you do it all? Can you do it? No, you can't. You can't do it. It is a 2-day job, okay? Thanks for chatting to me today, if you've seen me today, and taking the time to come and meet and greet. I've loved every single minute of it. Thanks to Dave for taking us down. Thanks to Bill for his company. And thanks to everybody who I've met, and you have proper lifted my spirits up. Thanks for watching. Tornado. Catch you next time. Cheers.